45-day countdown. What's NATO's threat to the Kremlin's leadership? In the growing pressure of global diplomacy and rising tensions between Russia and the West, a countdown now looms large over international relations, with only 45 days remaining from a 50-day ultimatum set on July 14, 2025, by President Donald Trump. The world watches closely as September 1st approaches. This deadline is not merely symbolic. It was issued directly to the Russian Federation, with a call for peace in Ukraine or face sweeping economic consequences. President Trump's terms were clear. Either Russia agrees to a peace deal in Ukraine or the United States will impose 100% tariffs on all Russian exports, including on countries that continue to do business with Moscow. Though Russia's direct exports to the U.S. are minimal, the secondary sanctions could cripple trade flows for Russian allies and dramatically increase the cost of compliance for global businesses. The world is now locked in a geopolitical standoff where financial markets, energy supplies, and military strategies are all hanging in the balance. Despite the weight of these terms, Russian officials have scoffed at the ultimatum. Former President Dmitry Medvedev, currently serving as deputy chair of Russia's Security Council, called the announcement theatrical and irrelevant. In his view, Russia will not bend to pressure from the United States, and instead should prepare for what he ominously referred to as a full-scale war. He has even gone so far as to suggest preemptive strikes against Western targets if they escalate involvement further. This rhetoric signals not only a refusal to negotiate under American terms, but also a readiness to heighten hostilities. Meanwhile, in the background of this political brinkmanship, the military landscape is shifting. President Trump, in a statement just one day after media reports suggested he was ready to send JASSM cruise missiles to Ukraine, publicly denied any intention to arm Kyiv with long-range offensive capabilities. He reiterated that the United States would not authorize strikes deep into Russian territory, especially not Moscow, emphasizing the need to avoid provoking an uncontrollable war. However, the U.S. has committed to sending additional Patriot missile defense systems to bolster Ukraine's air defenses. These systems could be instrumental in protecting Ukrainian infrastructure and population centers from ongoing missile attacks. Although Trump's position on offensive weapons remains cautious, the provision of advanced defensive systems marks a significant escalation in Western support. Analysts are split on whether the 45-day countdown will lead to a negotiated ceasefire or a dangerous flare-up of hostilities. Some believe that Trump's deadline is primarily a negotiating tactic, giving Russia room to continue its summer offensive in hopes of claiming more territory before being forced to the bargaining table. Others worry that if Russia sees no path to a diplomatic victory, it may resort to increased aggression. One thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. Russia views the conflict as existential, tying its national security to outcomes in Ukraine. The United States, under Trump's leadership, is attempting to reassert global leverage through both economic might and controlled military aid. As the clock ticks down toward September 1st, both sides are hardening their positions. Ukrainian forces continue to defend their territory with international aid, but they remain heavily dependent on the West's continued military and financial backing. In the corridors of power from Washington to Moscow, decisions made in the coming weeks could reshape not just the fate of Ukraine, but the balance of power in Europe and beyond. In the final analysis, the next 45 days represent more than just a deadline. They are a test of will, strategy, and global resolve. Whether this countdown leads to peace or to a darker chapter in modern history remains to be seen. This has been a 𝖈𝖔𝖚 World News and Documentaries Special Report.